But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
I like that boulder. That is a nice boulder.
I think you're the most attractive of all my parents' friends. I mean that.
It's the Al Travis Show. We love to have her on the program with us. She's Senator Amy Koch. She's with Momentum Advocacy, and we'll talk about them a little bit as we go. They're in government relations, strategic communications, and I'm now going to ask her if she might be doing it wrong. How are you, Amy?
I probably am doing it wrong.
Well, and here's my example, and this is what I mean. I don't know how much of you, I presume this is what you guys do. Governor Walz gets called and says, in 2 weeks, we want you in Washington to talk about your immigration policy in Minnesota.
Right.
I'm not saying that wouldn't maybe scare anybody out a little bit. It's like, nuts, what do we got to do? Let's cover this stuff.
Right. Yeah.
He's got...
And we said, like, he showed up, which was we gave him kudos.
Yep.
We gave him his flowers for, like, look, he showed up in a hostile environment to answer questions.
Then he sent a bill to you and me for $430,000. And if, okay, let's just pretend this group makes $1,000 an hour. They're that good. 430 hours worth of work to get the governor up to speed on his bill that he passed about how we're going to handle immigration. Why are you not doing that for a living, Amy? You and Brian, you got $430 for 400 hours of work? Walk away. I'm sorry. That's gimme money.
I've got, I'm charging Minnesota prices. Those are those are DC prices. And I am, we started doing some federal advocacy as part of
my
our
God.
team. And I just am blown away. We're always like, oh, well, what should we charge? Like we kind of, and the numbers that you see from DC firms, it's outrageous. And also, I just have to wonder, like, who prepped him? Like, look, I guess I can understand even bringing in an expert for a few hours to say, well, be aware of this and be aware of that. But 400 and like you said, if it's $1,000 an hour, it's $2,000 an hour. You're talking 200
hundreds of hours.
Hundreds of hours. There's not even that. You get 80 hours or 40 hours a week. I don't even know. Like you're talking 4 weeks of nonstop prep at $2,000 an hour.
See, and it doesn't, but here's my point. They can charge that. You know why? Because the governor says, oh, okay, you're the best. I'll do it. And I'm going to make Minnesotans pay for it. And we're all like, yeah, okay, I guess we have to. Why is this? Why? He's got an entire staff of lawyers, correct? I mean,
legal counsel, all the commissioners and agencies at his staff. He has communication staff.
No.
Yeah.
And he literally just looked them all in the eye and said, you guys aren't good enough for me. Here's where it is. This is me being cynical, and I'm not saying this is happening, but I would love someone to watch to see this K&L group or whatever they're called out of there. The governor brought it up because, the same week he's saying, if I run for governor again, I'll have more money than anybody's ever had. You're going to see a money-raising machine. Wouldn't it be interesting if that K&L legal group or somebody from there donated to his cause?
Well, I mean, again, and I don't know about that, but right. But here's the deal.
I don't know if it happened.
I don't know. But it's where the cynics come in, right? And it's where people get disappointed because you go $430,000 for, we assume, a couple weeks of work. Like none of us are going to see that in our life. Like most of us are not going to see that in our life. Or it's going to be over an entire lifetime. And so it's easy to get real cynical about that sort of thing.
When it's back to you can't do the math to make it work, let alone that's how good the product came out. I'm not being mean. He didn't say much of anything. It's like, okay, I mean, he was what he was. You can always take the fifth. My point is, I tell him, don't lie. Just tell them how you got there. My commissioner said we could do this, we did this, and we're trying to follow the law. Might be wrong or right. Don't know. But that isn't worth $430,000 of my dollars.
It's pretty wild. Like I said, and as you said, I'm in the business, and I'm blown away by that number. I just want to say to you, who's charging those prices? I don't know. But
K&L.
With conscience, do it. Maybe I'm not worth it. I don't know.
No, I think you are. My point is you just got to focus. You're all about all that other stuff. I'm just here to teach bad governors how to act in front of Congress. Just narrow the focus down. You'll be richer than the sun. You'll be, Elon Musk in no time.
a couple of those gigs, and I am set.
Thank you.
Okay. One or two of those gigs, and I'm happy.
and it's every week on TV. There's some congressional hearing going on. There's a half a dozen people that need your expertise.
Right. Oh my gosh,
Momentum
Al,
advocacy.
right.
Oh, I know.
This is a deal.
We'll go to the Capitol talking. Get out of there. You're just going to have these people show up. You're going to prep them a little bit, and you're going to charge them outlandish money. Let's get serious. That's how the world works. All right. On that same line, but different, because I don't mean to rip on momentum advocacy. I think they're great, by the way. I just make fun. Governor Walz comes out and he says, I might run. He's still running. And if I run, I'm going to...
I believe he's running. Yep.
And he's going to have more money than anybody. Don't you worry about me. And that's probably true. And I no harm to him. You run for vice president, you meet all kinds of folks with all kinds of money, and you're shaking hands. And what they raise, $1.5 billion for the Kamala campaign in his. So I presume he will bring in massive money. You do this for a living. Obviously, the state probably leans blue in the statewide run.
Statewide, right? Yeah.
Yeah, statewide. There's 2 terms. Most people don't like the third. Can you buy that? Is enough money to change people's mind and say, okay, a third term works for me? All the other stuff he's got going against him as far as, scandals and that sort of thing. Can he get by it?
You know what? So I'm going to go back to an old name that folks will recognize, maybe, a Governor Perpich. Governor Perpich did 2 terms. He ran for a third and he lost. And Governor Perpich was arguably one of the most influential governors in our state history. He was very popular. He was very much like a moderate Minnesota Democrat, right?
Yep.
And he couldn't win a third term. I think, look, I do believe he's going to have money. The governor's already got more money than any Republican gubernatorial candidate because we don't really have one.
Yep.
Republicans, the biggest thing working for him is Republicans, because we can't seem to put up a statewide candidate that people like to save our lives. And so that's working in his favor. So he's got a lot in his favor. But I do think that he got dinged up on the federal level.
Yep.
I think that he went further left than he ever did. Right? He ran as that, like, I have an A grade from the NRA. I'm a agriculture Mankato football coach guy. And that's not how his national persona has become. He's become very much like the rock'em sock'em. I punch Trump in the nose, and I'm really progressive. But I look like your dad, so I can say it. Like, that's been his
that's his whole thing.
That's his whole thing. And that's fine. And it is working for him on a national level. But also, I think in Minnesota, we kind of have this like innate fairness of, no, we do 2 terms, and that's what you do. Yeah. And I think that's what Perpich ran up against, right? And I mean, there was all kinds of things in that race too. But actually, that could have worked in Perpich's favor. But I do think there's something to, like, besides the national thing that dinged him up, I think there's something to, we just don't like a third term. That's just not what we're doing.
I don't disagree, but here's the biggest problem, and you said it. Where are the Republicans? Okay, we are going to wait until session gets out. I got it. Oh, it went overtime. I get it. Okay, the shootings, I get it. Funerals, okay. And I don't know when the right time to jump in is, but so far, 2 of, I would presume, the lead dogs on the Republican side, both Senator Julia Coleman and Senator Duckworth, have all said thank you, but no thank you. They're out.
Right.
When do we start? Is it before the state fair? When do we see Republicans we would recognize get in? This governor, in my opinion, has a better shot of losing. The Republicans have a better shot of winning a statewide race this time than probably since the Perpich days. So why is there someone not willing to step up and say, I'll take this shot. This is the best we're going to have?
I think it's been since 2006 that we have not won a statewide race. And look, it is not because this is a dark blue state. It's not. The Metro's working against you. That's true. But this state is purple. It is purple. And a right candidate absolutely can win. I ran up against this in 2000. When I ran the elections for the Senate in 2010, we had not had the Senate for 40 years out. And everyone told me, you're never going to have the Senate. And we didn't have any money. I had like $300,000 for the entire race. I needed 13 seats. It was the largest takeover of any state Senate in the country that year. 16 seats tumbled in 2011. And that was people telling me, you're never, ever going to have the Senate. So I don't listen to people that tell me that this state is never going to elect a Republican governor. The right candidate can win. And I'm saying that but the right.
I agree, but
and
this
it's not Doc Jensen. I'm sorry, it's not. The folks that we've been putting up are not strong candidates. And if they can get through the endorsement, and by the way, the endorsers like hold all this power, but they're not choosing electable. They're choosing somebody who agrees with them and on all things. And dudes, that's not what's going to win you in Minnesota. I'm sorry. You have to choose someone who's electable. Period.
Okay, so where's this human coming from? My last 30 seconds, we're going to break.
Okay.
Folks that are in House or Senate, they understand this process. They have either put their time in it and they've done some, you probably got feelers from people. You know who's putting their line in the water. I don't think there's any names left really after we throw the last two out. I don't know who's left that could jump in that would shock me. So it's going to have to come from the private sector, isn't it? Do you think this person is a business human that comes out from a 3M and says, okay, we got to fix this state. I hate fraud. I hate the rest. Is that it's going to have to come from the private sector?
Potentially, or sort of like a rogue candidate, right? Think about like Jesse Ventura, right? Find somebody that is not political, but has an interesting background, is willing to work hard. And I mean, there are still politicos, right? We didn't, Kristen Robbins, Karen Housley, like these are names. We're not going to have a bench as Republicans. So we got to create that bench.
Yeah. Well, that's where I'm at. And I think that's groups like yours that got to do it. I just bring up the questions on radio because it's easier. We'll be back after this. I've got more with Amy Koch on the Al Travis Show.
Chanhassen Dinner Theaters brings you its most popular show of all time, Grease. You'll hear all your favorite hits from the Broadway musical and the movie. Join the whole gang at Rydell High. We'll sing, we'll dance, we'll bring you back to high school life in the 50s. Poodle skirts, bobby socks, the soda shop, and drive-in movies. Grease! It'll rock your socks off. Order your tickets today. Visit chanhassendt.com.
Braver Angels Minnesota is part of a national movement that brings together conservatives, liberals, independents, and others to restore trust, respect, and goodwill in politics. We seek not to eliminate our differences, but rather deal with them head on, with respect and understanding. We do not try to change people's views, but how they view the other side. There will always be differences. Braver Angels Minnesota believes the best way forward is to change how we deal with those differences. Join the civil conversation at mn.braverangels.org.
easily offended? The Al Travis Show is not for you. The Al Travis Show. All sides are welcome.
I've got our Amy Koch on with Momentum Advocacy. I made fun of them earlier, so I'm going to give her a softball. So the big, beautiful bill comes out, Amy, and in Minnesota, it's just so wild. The left, there are going to be people dying in the streets. That's sad. The middle all says this is the greatest, biggest, beautiful bill of all time. And then the real conservatives like this didn't go far enough. Does Momentum Advocacy, if we called you as a group, a company, and said, how is this going to affect us? Do you guys dive into that and figure that out?
We really do. There is so many implications on this bill. And look, as a conservative, it's not even that it doesn't go far enough. This thing spends a lot of money, Al. I don't know what happened to Republicans not wanting to grow the federal deficit.
Yeah.
But this bill ain't it. And so that's one of my biggest problems with it, right?
Let me just throw those out. Emmer tells me that office of whoever figures that out was considering that if they didn't pass this bill, taxes were going to go up $4 trillion, right? That big tax. So that's what they're saying is the $4 billion deficit. Trump is obviously betting on we give that tax break.
Give it back and it
business
grows.
is going to come up and grow. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But here's my point to you in Minnesota now. I believe thoroughly the governor wholeheartedly, because he was talking about it, whether he runs for governor or the president, wanted to have a special session in Minnesota saying, big, beautiful bill, cost us $1 billion. We must have a special session so they could spend some time ripping Orange Man bad, right? And setting themselves up for this next election. He runs for governor. I'm the guy who stopped Orange Man Bad's bill from ruining your life. It sets him up. But I think he's run into a problem now. Again, obviously, the death of Hortman is a horrible thing for all sorts of reasons. But he can't really call a special session now, can he? I mean, the numbers have changed until he gets a special election for the Hortman seat. We don't know what's going on in the Mitchell trial, which will start. The Senator Mitchell trial starts next week, I believe. He can't really call a special session because his numbers are upside down currently, right? So that special session thing's gone?
Right. Well, right. No, that's a great point. So the Hortman seat horribly vacated. But it does make the count in the House 60, which was 67, now 67 Republicans, 66 Democrats. Special election has not been called. A special election takes about 6 to 8 weeks to just make happen from calling it, and it has not been called yet. There was a city council member, by the way, that announced he was running for the seat yesterday. So that's the first candidate we've seen jump in, which is
from the Democratic side?
I believe it was the Democratic side. Yeah, from Brooklyn Park.
Okay.
So yes, there's that to work out. I think you wouldn't see a special session until sometime in September or October anyway. And here's one of the big problems that the state does have. The Medicaid that was cut goes to all kinds of things. And you get those federal dollars and then you match them with state dollars. And so it really will, for a lot of states, including a lot of red states, those cuts are going to create a hole that really hasn't been addressed on like how that's going to be filled. And it's going to fall to the states. And by the way, here's the other thing I don't like about it. They push down the expenses that they promise funding for all this stuff on a federal level. And they make all these mandates and requirements of states that you have to do. And then they say they're going to fund it, but they never do. The feds never fund their mandates to the states. And then the state has to pick up the tab. Well, the state kicks it down to the counties. So now you got poor Polk County and Wright County trying to pick up the tab for what the feds are making everybody do, but refusing to fund. And that I have a problem with. Look, you wanna make cuts on a federal level, fine, but then don't make all these requirements so that you feel good. Oh, we're doing all these things, but you're not actually funding them.
On the last, I only have 1 minute left. Let's do this. You say October, November, even we could have this special session, but why have it then? You're 8 weeks away from being in session regularly anyway. What difference? We have $3-4 billion in the kitty that we could use for rainy days. Do we need to do that, or is that because we want to have a special session? So back to I can stand against Orange Man.
If you could do it in September, October, it makes sense. They're actually not starting next year because it's an even year. February. They're not starting until mid-February. So so you could do it. But yet, I think if you start to get into November, they won't do it in December. Well, now you're coming back mid-February. So why spend the time and the money? Yep.
Amy, love having you in the program. We're out of time. It goes by so fast when you're on. Momentum Advocacy, Amy Koch. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me, Al. It's
Always
great.
a pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
Dust from livestock buildings can be harmful to your animals.